So mentoring young graduates and students.
Mentoring. Okay.
So we discovered that there is a huge gap between those that have gone ahead as in subject matter experts and young graduates as a huge gap. And we feel like sharing experiences is very good for those that are just coming up so that they'll be able to learn faster and be able to, their productivity will also be faster. So that's one of the reasons why we are doing what we are doing. So it's a media chat, like what we are doing is a media chat. It's a arm of the mentorship platform. We also have an aspect called Engr. Engr is about technology, engineering, and geosciences. So we are mentoring students, young graduates around Engr, technology, engineering, and students. So we discovered that there's a huge gap between, like what I said earlier, between subject matter experts. And we also discovered that in engineering, most engineering students or graduates tend to work in the financial sector instead of the real industry that's actually meant for them because of the situation of the economy. So, and also in geoscience, the same thing is applicable to geosciences, geology, geophysics, and the rest like that. So, what we are doing here is the media chats. So, we want younger generation, younger engineers to learn from you, sir. We want to hear how God has helped you so far, the journey so far. So we'll be asking some questions. So I don't know if were you able to go through the one I sent to you, sir?
Yes, I was.
So in the GFIN, we're going to start.
Yeah, so you can start. I'm very happy to hear about what you are doing. You know, unfortunately, we are not in the right type of country. We've just talked about engineers going into finance and all whatnot. And that's the situation in which we find ourselves. And it is the type of environment in which we are, the type of people who are ruling us. One can tell you many experiences that one has had, which proves that those who are ruling us, they are not doing it the right way. They are not doing it the right way. One can say that I don't know whether we should say they don't have the interest, or we should say the typical example I can give you is I learned that when India started the government over there had a policy, and that policy was that anything that was to be imported into that country must be manufactured there. You know the implication of that.
Yes.
If you are manufacturing in their country, there's no way that they themselves will not gain knowledge. I'm talking of knowledge now. And that's why India is what it is today. India manufactures cars, manufacture aeroplanes. They are even into nuclear technology. They wouldn't have been there if they followed the track that we have followed in Nigeria. Next month it will be 60 years since we got our independence. What have we been able to manufacture? when I came back into this country, I came back in November 1959. At that time, there was that enthusiasm. All the people graduating or finishing their education abroad. I was in UK. Anybody qualifying at that time was eager to come back home to do something. But they came back to find out one would be disappointed. I first, when I came back, by the way, I was on government scholarship when I went. And when I came back, I didn't want to work for the government because I wanted to go into production. Because the way I trained, they were manufacturing from ordinary, from foundry up to machining and then assembling the machine, then sending out. So with this, I felt that I was interested in production, engineering production. The first obstacle I wanted to start with, I started in Lagos, in the private sector. The people I worked with, I don't want to tell you their names. They couldn't decide my salary. And the big boss sent to the chief engineer of Kingsway in Lagos to go and find out. You know, the chief engineer of Kingsway would definitely be European. So to go and find out how much they should pay me. And they offered me 600 pounds. And I was not ready to take 600 pounds, so I gave them a notice. My mates in Ibadan was the center then of development in Nigeria. My mates in the government in Ibadan was 972. Somebody was offering me 600 in it. And whereas I was getting telegrams from the government that sent me abroad that I should come back to, that the job was waiting for me. So I had to resign. And I went to Ibadan. I wanted to go into the government, you know, that's not the right place for somebody who wants to go into production.
Sir, I'm feeling somewhat very cold.
Pardon?
I'm feeling very cold. The AC.
Yeah.
With the AC.
AC is too much for you.
Yes, sir.
That's all right. So